Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! The apprehensive anticipation of his upcoming transformation gnawed at Danny as the days crept closer to the clinic visit. His daily ritual of facing the bathroom mirror only reinforced his determination. Bearded and battle-weary, at just 32, his reflection showcased a weariness that belied his age. It was high time for a change. Danny sighed, scrutinizing the stubborn dark stubble that lined his jaw, a reminder of his decades-long struggle with unruly body hair. Since his teen years, it had been a relentless battle. The forest of hair on his forearms alone required a more powerful weapon than any he'd previously wielded. Razors, creams, and epilators lay in the cabinet, a testament to their failures, each method a disappointment, leaving skin irritation and ingrown hairs in their wake. As if in silent understanding, the solution hung discreetly in his closet, a hidden sanctuary within a garment bag, a curated collection of feminine fabrics, a secret wardrobe carefully assembled over many years. Anna's wardrobe. His feminine alter ego remained trapped behind those zippers most days, hostage to the biological reality of his persistently masculine appearance. Crossdressing had begun as an occasional curiosity in college, but evolved into something more significant, a form of expression that felt increasingly necessary to his well-being. Yet the process of transforming into Anna had become a grueling ritual of painful shaving, heavy foundation, and constant anxiety about stubble showing through or body hair peeking out at inopportune moments. The appointment card for Elite Laser Clinic sat on his bedside table. 6 months of cutting expenses and extra freelance graphic design projects had finally yielded enough savings for a complete treatment package. The consultation had been nerve-wracking enough. Explaining to the technician that he wanted permanent hair reduction for personal reasons, while avoiding the full truth, had left him sweating through his button-down shirt. The morning of the first appointment arrived with a mix of anticipation and dread. Danny chose his most inconspicuous outfit, plain blue jeans and a gray hoodie, hoping to blend into the background at the upscale clinic. The reception area gleamed with polished surfaces and minimalist decor. A woman with immaculately styled auburn hair greeted him from behind a curved white desk. "Good morning. I have an appointment at 10. Danny Mitchell." She smiled with practiced warmth. "Of course, Mr. Mitchell. Please complete these forms while you wait. Dr. Reynolds will be with you shortly." The paperwork asked standard medical questions, but Danny hesitated at the section marked "Reason for Treatment." After a moment's consideration, he wrote, "Excessive body hair causing physical and emotional discomfort." 20 minutes later, a door opened, and a tall woman in a white lab coat appeared. "Mr. Mitchell, I'm Dr. Reynolds. Please come through." The treatment room was clinical but comfortable, with a padded table in the center and various high-tech machines positioned strategically around it. "First time for laser hair removal?" Dr. Reynolds asked, reviewing his forms. "Yes." "And I see we're focusing on facial hair, chest, arms, and legs today. Essentially a full-body treatment program." Danny nodded, his mouth suddenly dry. "That's right. May I ask what your goals are for these treatments? It helps me tailor the approach." The question hung in the air. Danny had rehearsed various answers, all deliberately vague, but found himself unexpectedly responding with honesty. I dress as a woman sometimes. The body hair makes it difficult. I spend hours shaving, and it still shows through or grows back too quickly." He braced for judgment, but Dr. Reynolds simply nodded professionally. "That makes perfect sense. Many of our clients have similar goals. The good news is that your hair and skin tone combination is ideal for treatment. Dark hair against fair skin responds excellently to laser. Relief washed over him as she continued explaining the procedure, outlining what to expect over the coming months. For the first time, Danny felt he wasn't being judged for wanting what seemed impossible. A body that could more easily express both sides of himself. The initial treatment focused on his face and neck. The sensation was like being snapped repeatedly with a rubber band. Uncomfortable but bearable. When it ended, his skin felt hot and looked slightly red, but Dr. Reynolds assured him this was normal. You won't see immediate results. The hair will shed over the next 2 weeks. Each session will progressively reduce the amount and thickness of regrowth. Most people need between 6 and 8 treatments for optimal results. Danny nodded, already mentally counting the days until his next appointment. The following weeks established a new rhythm to his life. Work, home, careful skincare according to the post-treatment instructions, and meticulous documentation of the changes. By the 3rd session, the difference was undeniable. Patches of his chest remained stubbornly bare where dense hair had once grown. His face required shaving every other day rather than twice daily. 4 months into treatment, Danny stood in his bathroom and realized he'd gone 3 days without shaving his legs, yet they remained smooth enough to pass casual inspection. The changes went beyond physical transformation. They represented freedom from a daily ritual of discomfort. After the 5th session, he carefully unpacked the garment bag from his closet. The pink pleated skirt he'd purchased months ago but never worn lay on his bed alongside a white silk blouse. Sheer stockings, once a source of anxiety because they revealed every hint of stubble, waited to be tried. That evening, Danny became Anna more fully than ever before. The transformation required half the time it once had. Foundation went on smoothly over a face that no longer needed multiple passes with a razor. Legs slid effortlessly into stockings without snagging on coarse hair. Standing before the full-length mirror in his bedroom, Anna emerged, not through elaborate concealment, but through the revelation of what felt increasingly like her true self. The blonde wig she'd saved for cascaded past her shoulders, framing a face that appeared naturally softer without the shadow of beard growth. The 6th and final scheduled session approached. Danny had booked it for a Friday morning, taking the entire day off work. A decision had been forming in his mind throughout the treatment process, crystallizing with each passing week. Dr. Reynolds noted his progress with professional satisfaction. The results have exceeded expectations. Your hair growth has reduced by approximately 85% in most treatment areas. We can schedule maintenance sessions every 6 to 12 months if you notice any significant regrowth. Thank you, Danny said, meaning it more deeply than the doctor could know. This has been transformative. That afternoon, he didn't return to his apartment immediately. Instead, he visited a department store where he'd previously only browsed nervously or shopped online. With newfound confidence, he selected several items: a navy blue dress, a cardigan in soft cream, practical shoes that would work for the office. The weekend passed in careful preparation. By Sunday evening, decisions had been made and emails sent. Monday morning arrived with purpose. Anna stepped out of her apartment building, wearing the navy dress beneath the cream cardigan. Her blonde hair caught the morning sunlight as she walked with measured steps toward the bus stop. The sheer stockings on her legs revealed nothing but smoothness, and her makeup, applied with practiced precision, enhanced rather than masked her features. At the office, she took a deep breath before entering. The email to HR had been sent Friday evening, explaining that Danny would henceforth be presenting as Anna. The response had been professionally supportive, if brief. The first person she encountered was Carol from accounting, who did a visible double take before recovering. "Good morning," Anna said, her voice carefully modulated to a soft contralto she'd been practicing for months. "Oh, good morning. Anna, right? HR sent around a memo." "That's right. Thank you for remembering." The day progressed with curious glances and awkward moments, but also with surprising normalcy. By afternoon, Anna sat at her desk, working through design projects with the same skill she'd always possessed. Mark from marketing stopped by her cubicle around 3. "So, this is a permanent change?" "Yes," Anna replied, without looking up from her monitor. "It is." "Bold move. Suits you, though." The simple acceptance in his tone caused her to look up in surprise. "Thank you." As weeks passed, Anna's confidence grew. The laser treatments had removed not just unwanted hair, but also the barriers between her inner and outer self. Maintenance became manageable, a touch-up session every few months rather than the daily battle she'd once fought. 6 months after her final regular treatment, Anna attended her company's annual client appreciation dinner in a burgundy dress that would have been impossible before. Throughout the evening, she noticed several people who hadn't seen her since the transition doing double takes, but conversations remained focused on work and industry gossip. Near the dessert course, her department head David approached with a client from an advertising agency. "Anna, I'd like you to meet Richard Harmon. He's interested in the campaign concept you developed for the Wellington account." Richard extended his hand. "David tells me you're the creative genius behind that presentation. It was exactly what we've been looking for." "Thank you." "I'm glad it resonated with your team." Anna shook his hand, noticing he held her gaze comfortably, treating her with professional respect. The conversation flowed easily into design philosophy and marketing trends. As they talked, Anna realized something profound. She was now spending her energy on the conversation itself rather than monitoring her appearance or worrying about being discovered. Later that evening, in the quiet of her apartment, Anna stood before the mirror and really looked at herself. The blonde hair that framed her face was no longer a wig, but her own, grown out over many months. The pink pleated skirt and white silk blouse she'd changed into after returning home felt like the most natural clothing she'd ever worn. She touched her smooth cheek, remembering the countless mornings spent fighting against her body's determination to assert its masculinity through relentless hair growth. Those battles were largely behind her now. A notification popped up on her phone, a reminder for her quarterly maintenance appointment at Elite Laser Clinic. Anna smiled at the reminder. Those periodic sessions had become like routine dental checkups, brief, occasional necessities, rather than desperate interventions. The next day, Anna met her friend Melissa for lunch at their favorite cafe. They'd known each other for years, with Melissa being one of the few people who had known Danny and supported his journey from the beginning. "You look fantastic," Melissa said after they'd ordered. "There's something different about you today. More relaxed, maybe?" Anna stirred her iced tea thoughtfully. "I was thinking about it last night. For the first time since I can remember, I'm not fighting against myself every day. Do you know what it's like to spend hours every morning just trying to erase something that reappears by afternoon?" Melissa shook her head. "It consumed so much of my time and energy. The physical discomfort was bad enough, but the mental toll was worse. Every time I felt confident as Anna, a glimpse of stubble in a reflection, or the sensation of hair growing back, would trigger this wave of dysphoria. And now? Now I just live. I get ready in the morning like anyone else. I don't carry an emergency shaving kit everywhere. I don't avoid certain lighting because it might reveal what I'm trying to hide." Their food arrived, and they ate while discussing other things. Melissa's promotion, an exhibit at the local art gallery, plans for the upcoming holiday season. The conversation flowed naturally, untethered from the weight of Anna's former anxieties. After lunch, they walked through the downtown shopping district, something Anna would have avoided in the past. Too many reflective surfaces, too much bright lighting. Now, she paused occasionally to examine window displays without scanning her reflection for flaws. "Want to go in?" Melissa asked as they passed a boutique with elegant dresses displayed in the window. "Sure," Anna replied, another simple word that represented enormous progress. Inside, she browsed through racks of clothing without the self-consciousness that once plagued her. A sales associate approached with a professional smile. "That would look lovely with your coloring," she commented as Anna examined a teal blouse. "The cooler tones would complement your blonde hair beautifully." "Thank you," Anna said, appreciating the ordinary interaction for the gift it was, being seen as she truly felt inside. She purchased the blouse, another small celebration of her transformation. Outside the shop, Melissa checked her watch and sighed. "I should get back to the office. Quarterly reports wait for no woman." They hugged goodbye, and Anna continued walking alone, enjoying the crisp fall day. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Curious, she opened it. "Hi, Anna. This is Richard Harmon from the client dinner last week. David gave me your number. Would you be interested in joining our team for a working lunch on Thursday to discuss the Wellington campaign further?" Anna paused on the sidewalk, reading the message twice. Professional recognition for her work rather than attention for her appearance. Another shift in how the world perceived her. She typed a quick response, accepting the invitation. That evening, Anna updated her online professional profiles, replacing outdated photos with current ones that reflected her true self. She hesitated briefly before changing her name on all platforms, then decisively made the edits. The digital transformation complete, she felt another small weight lift from her shoulders. The following morning, Anna's routine felt remarkably ordinary. Shower, moisturize, light makeup, dress in a charcoal pencil skirt and the new teal blouse, style her blonde hair into a simple but elegant bob. The effortlessness of it all still surprised her sometimes. Where once lay a battlefield of creams, bandages for nicks, heavy concealers, and constant vigilance, now existed a simple morning ritual. At work, she joined a team meeting where her ideas were discussed, debated, and ultimately adopted for an upcoming project. Her gender presentation had become background noise, acknowledged but irrelevant to her professional contributions. Thursday's lunch meeting with Richard Harmon and his team proved equally affirming. Seated at a table in an upscale restaurant, Anna presented expanded concepts for the Wellington campaign, fielding questions and offering solutions with confident expertise. "What impressed me most about your initial design," Richard said as they reviewed the materials, "was how you anticipated objections and addressed them within the concept itself. That's unfortunately rare." "I've learned that the best defense is a good, preemptive understanding of concerns," Anna replied, thinking how that philosophy had applied to her personal transformation as well. By the meeting's end, they'd established a framework for moving forward, with Anna taking lead on creative direction. As they gathered their materials, Richard handed her his business card. "Direct line," he said. "I hate communication filters. Let's talk early next week to formalize the timeline." The opportunity represented more than just professional advancement. It validated that her talents remained her own through all the external changes. Anna's identity wasn't diminished by her transition, but enhanced by the authenticity she now brought to all aspects of her life. That weekend, Anna visited her parents for the first time since completing her transition. The relationship had been strained during the initial announcement, with her father particularly struggling to understand. Regular phone calls had maintained communication, but this face-to-face meeting represented a significant step. Her mother answered the door, hesitating only momentarily before embracing her.
"You look wonderful, honey."
Inside, her father stood awkwardly in the living room, clearly having prepared himself for this moment. His expression registered surprise at Anna's appearance. Not the exaggerated femininity he perhaps expected, but the natural integration of her identity. "Hello, Dad," Anna said, setting down her purse.
"Anna,"
he acknowledged, the name still sounding new on his lips.
"Your mother made pot roast."
The simplicity of the statement somehow bridged the gap between them. Not full understanding, perhaps, but acceptance of a new reality. Dinner conversation carefully navigated around direct mentions of the transition, focusing instead on work, local news, and family updates. Yet as the evening progressed, Anna noticed her father watching her with puzzled curiosity.
"You seem happier,"
he finally said as they sat in the living room after dinner. "More at ease." "I am," Anna confirmed. "For the first time, I'm not fighting against myself every day." Her father nodded slowly.
"Your mother showed me some articles about body dysphoria and such. I can't say I fully understand, but I can see this isn't a phase or a whim."
"No, it isn't. It's who I've always been underneath."
"Well,"
he said, reaching for his coffee mug,
"I suppose that's what matters in the end, that you're happier now."
The conversation wasn't a dramatic reconciliation scene from a movie, but it represented something perhaps more valuable: the slow, steady acceptance of reality over preconception. As weeks turned into months, Anna's new life established its own comfortable rhythm. The quarterly maintenance laser sessions became routine, each one requiring less time as the remaining hair growth continued to diminish. Dr. Reynolds noted her progress with professional satisfaction during these checkups. "We're seeing diminishing returns now," she explained during Anna's one-year follow-up, "which is exactly what we want. Your hormonal therapy has also contributed to the reduction in body hair." The addition of hormone replacement therapy had been a carefully considered step in Anna's journey, begun 6 months after completing her initial laser treatment. The combined approach had transformed her body in subtle but meaningful ways: softer skin, slight changes in fat distribution, and further reduction in unwanted hair growth. At work, Anna's Wellington campaign launched to significant industry attention, earning her team an award for innovative marketing strategy. The recognition led to a promotion that fall, with increased creative control and team leadership responsibilities. Richard Harmon's agency became a regular client, their professional relationship evolving into a comfortable collaboration based on mutual respect. During a project review meeting, he mentioned casually, "My daughter started her transition last year. Seeing professionals like you succeeding in the industry has meant a lot to her." The comment caught Anna by surprise. "I'm glad if my visibility helps in any way. It wasn't my intention to become a representation of anything except good design work." "Sometimes our most powerful influences are the ones we create without intention," Richard replied. "Just by doing your job excellently while being authentically yourself." The observation lingered with Anna, prompting her to accept an invitation she might previously have declined, speaking on a panel about creativity and personal authenticity at a design conference. The topic wasn't explicitly about gender identity, but her presence and perspective brought that dimension to the discussion naturally. The most creative solutions often come when we stop fighting against our nature and work with it instead, she told the audience during the panel. Whether that's in design or in life, Authenticity unlocks possibilities we might never otherwise discover. After the conference, a young designer approached her with questions about the Wellington campaign, but eventually admitted, "I actually wanted to talk to you because I'm at the beginning of my own transition, and seeing someone like you succeeding in the industry gives me hope." Anna remembered Richard's words about unintentional influence. "The biggest lesson I've learned is that most people care far more about the quality of your work than the details of your personal journey. Excellence creates its own space for acceptance." They exchanged contact information, and Anna found herself in an unexpected mentorship role, not primarily about gender identity, though that remained an undercurrent, but about navigating the design industry while remaining true to oneself. 2 years after her final regular laser treatment, Anna hardly remembered the daily battle she'd once fought against her body. The smooth skin that had once required painful hours of maintenance now came naturally, with only occasional touch-up treatments needed. She sometimes reflected on the amount of time she'd reclaimed, hours each week once devoted to shaving, applying heavy foundation, checking and rechecking for any sign of masculine features showing through her presentation. That time now went to creative projects, social connections, and simply living without constant self-monitoring. On the anniversary of her first laser treatment, Anna returned to Elite Laser Clinic for a routine maintenance session. Dr. Reynolds greeted her with professional warmth. "You've been one of our most successful cases," she commented during the brief treatment. "Have you been happy with the long-term results?" Anna considered the question, which reached far beyond mere physical changes. "The technical results have been excellent, but the impact goes deeper than skin. This was the first step toward stopping the war with my own body."
"That's what makes this work meaningful," Dr. Reynolds replied. "Not just the cosmetic changes, but seeing how they enable more significant transformations."
After the appointment, Anna walked through the city streets wearing a light summer dress in pale yellow that complemented her blonde hair. The freedom of movement, of existing without constant hypervigilance, still struck her as miraculous sometimes. Her phone chimed with a calendar reminder: dinner with Melissa and her fiancé at a new restaurant downtown. Anna smiled at the normalcy of it all, the simple pleasure of plans with friends, without the shadow of anxiety that had once accompanied every social engagement. At the restaurant, Melissa waved from a corner table where she sat with her fiancé, Tom. Anna navigated between tables, nodding to a colleague from the marketing department who happened to be dining there as well. "Sorry I'm late," she said, settling into her chair. "My laser appointment ran longer than expected." "Still maintaining after all this time?" Melissa asked, passing a menu. "Less frequently now. Just touch-ups every 6 months or so." Anna glanced through the dinner options. The hormones have helped reduce regrowth, too. Tom, who hadn't known Anna during her transition, simply nodded as if they were discussing a routine hair appointment. The casualness of his response highlighted how far she'd come. Her medical maintenance was now just another aspect of life, not its defining feature. They ordered drinks and appetizers, conversation flowing easily between topics: Melissa and Tom's wedding plans, workplace gossip, a documentary series they'd all been watching. "Oh," Melissa said, setting down her glass. "Did you hear back about that creative director position? You mentioned the final interview was last week." "I did, actually. They offered it to me yesterday." "Anna, that's fantastic." Melissa reached across the table to squeeze her hand. "It's perfect for you." "Congratulations," Tom added. "That's a major step up, isn't it?" Anna nodded, still processing the achievement herself. "It's the position I've been working toward for years. Better salary, creative control, team leadership. We should celebrate properly, Melissa insisted, signaling for the server. Champagne instead of these pedestrian cocktails. As they toasted her success, Anna felt a moment of perfect alignment. Her external life finally matched her internal sense of self. Professional recognition reflected her true capabilities, and relationships centered on authentic connections rather than carefully maintained appearances. Later that evening, returning to her apartment, Anna paused to collect her mail. Among the usual bills and advertisements sat an envelope with her parents' return address. Inside was a card congratulating her on 3 years since beginning her transition, signed by both her mother and father. The simple acknowledgement, not just tolerance, but celebration of her journey, brought unexpected tears to her eyes. She placed the card on her mantel, a testament to how far they'd all come. In her bedroom, Anna changed into comfortable loungewear and removed her makeup. The face that looked back from the mirror was simply her own. No longer Danny pretending to be Anna, or Anna fighting against Danny's features, but simply herself, integrated and whole. She touched her smooth cheek, remembering the countless mornings spent fighting stubble and shadow. The laser treatments had been the first domino, addressing the physical barrier that had made her authentic expression so difficult, had created space for everything else to align. Anna settled into bed with her tablet, reviewing design concepts for her first project as creative director. Tomorrow would bring new challenges in her new role, but for the first time in her life, those challenges wouldn't include battling her own body for the right to exist as herself. She set the tablet aside and turned out the light, grateful for smooth skin that represented so much more than mere aesthetics. It symbolized the alignment of inner and outer self, the freedom to live authentically, and the best investment she'd ever made in her own happiness.
Thanks for watching, my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!